Welcome to the Recharge Zone podcast. I'm your host, Brent Doty, joined with my co-host, Ann-Margaret. Hi, Ann-Margaret.
Hi.
And this is our final episode for 2024. We've gone through 6 wonderful episodes so far, and so today we thought we'd do some highlights and maybe some lowlights that we experienced throughout the year, starting with maybe a low light, which is the ongoing drought that we're facing.
Yes, Brent. So can you share with us, I know in our most recent December board meeting, Paul Bertetti shared the Aquifer Conditions Report. Can you give us kind of just an overview of the drought as it currently stands, and I guess in comparison to the drought of record?
Absolutely. So, in short, this drought is unlike any other drought that we've faced in recorded history. So we all refer to this drought of record, and that refers to this 10-year drought that we experienced in the 1950s, culminating in the springs going dry for 6 months in 1956, some of the hottest and driest times on record. Up until this drought kind of over the last 2.5 years has been more intense than that drought in the 1950s. So shorter duration, but higher intensity, resulting in very low spring flows and very low water levels in our index wells in J17 and J27. So although this drought's duration has been much shorter because it's hotter and drier, the intensity has been higher, therefore water levels have dropped faster. So we're starting off 2025 at an extremely low level. We're currently in stage 4 out of 5.
And that's specifically for the San Antonio pool because the Uvalde pool is already in stage 5. But never in history will we have ever been in stage 5 for the San Antonio pool.
Yes, and unless we get some spring rainfall, we're looking at a stage 5 scenario. So it's really critical now that folks conserve water, that everyone understands the situation, and that we try our best to maintain spring flows. Now, of course, the EAA has a lot of measures in place. We have spring flow protection measures where we reduce pumping. We have conservation programs through the Habitat Conservation Plan, such as voluntary irrigation suspension, ASR leasing, spring flow protection measures, but all these things together cannot overcome, the ultimate forces of nature. If this drought persists and we get a hot and dry summer, it's going to be an extreme challenge for us. So I encourage, everyone to recognize that we're in this severe drought and to practice conservation measures accordingly.
Yes, I feel like during drought and year round, if you can make an effort to conserve water in and around your home, it can just make the biggest impact, especially I would say probably for lawn watering, right?
Yeah, if you look at domestic use, so that's water in our homes, certainly the greatest amount of use is in the yard. It's watering grass. Everyone wants a nice green lawn, but if we're having a hot and dry summer, I hope it becomes the thing to maybe have a brown yard.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
And that kind of gets to some of the research that y'all are doing at the Field Research Park. When you think about lawns and gardening, and you think Texas native plants and probably soil restoration and those types of things. So can you share with us some of the highlights of the research that y'all have done at the FRP?
Yeah, I'm glad to mention the Field Research Park because really the goal of the research park is to study land management in a way that will make the landscape more resilient to drought. So if we're working on how to use nature-based solutions, this is how to use brush berms and berm and swales and other land management features to slow down and spread rainfall as it falls, give it time to soak into the ground,